Big ups, everybody. Welcome back. If you've been here before, welcome. If this is your very first time on the stream, either way, I'm really, really glad to have you. I'm your boy Tarek, and this is my channel, and this is Talk Back Tuesdays. This is the opportunity where you get to jump on stream and have your say about any and all things footy. Really appreciate you being here. Um, Obviously, as always, my guy, um, Miami Snoopy, first one in the chat. So big ups, man. I appreciate you. Uh, Always jumping on, always supporting your boy, holding me down. I appreciate that, fam. Before we get into the footy, again, as always, do me a favor. Um, go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It does go a long way to supporting the channel and desperately need your help. I don't say desperately, it ain't that deep. But do want your help, do want to continue to grow the channel. And so we need your help to get there. So big ups, appreciate you. And thanks for jumping on. As always, on Talk Back Tuesdays, this is the chance that you get to jump on the mic. So there is a link in the chat. There's a link for you to be able to hit that button, turn your camera on, turn your mic on, or if you don't want to come on camera, that's fine too. Just hit the button. As long as you have a mic, you can jump on, and you can help and just have your say about whatever it is that you want to talk about footy related. I suppose depending on what the topic is, if you want to get outside of footy, we can do that too. Just depends on what the topic is. But like I said, always appreciate everybody being here. So big ups to you. Big ups, Keely. Appreciate you as always. Thank you for your support, brother. Appreciate you jumping on. I gotta admit, I've been sick these last few days. Hold on one sec. I've been sick last couple of days. Throat is a little sore, but someone reached out and was like, "Hey, are we going to do this?" And so it actually made me pretty excited that folks actually wanted to do this, look forward to doing this, and that means a lot because you don't have to be here. There's a lot of places you could be, a lot of things you could be doing with your time, but you're here, and so I really appreciate it. But it just means I need even more. I need your support to get through this stream. Um, so if you're interested, feel free to jump on and we'll go from there. What are we going to talk about tonight? Let's talk about the international break. Of course, that's what most streams are talking about right now. An international break. It's wrapping up. A lot of players have already headed back to their club teams, but there are still some games that are happening. There are games that happened today. I don't know if today's the last day. I'll have to check on the calendar here in a minute. But definitely, obviously, going to talk international break. But I want to ask the question, and I know everybody's not going to be able to jump on the camera or on the mic, and that's okay. But I do want to ask the question because we are coming up on the holiday season here in the U.S. Obviously, we have Thanksgiving in about a week and a half. Not this Thursday, but next Thursday is Thanksgiving, and then the next big holiday right after that is Christmas. And so, if you're not already out there preparing, getting, knowing what you're going to buy for your significant others or family, friends, loved ones, whatever it might be, you probably should be looking. You should probably be thinking about that stuff already. And so I want to ask the question, not about what you would get for your family, friends, and loved ones, but if you could give a gift to your club team. Mine happens to be Manchester City, but you might support a different team. I don't know. But if you could give your team any gift this holiday season, what would it be? Now, caveat: you can't come in and say, "Oh, I would give him the Champions League." That's a bit of a stretch. Um, so you can't go that far. Can't gift them the Premier League title or any trophy for that matter. But what would you give your favorite club team as a gift this holiday season? Again, as we start out, I will be the first to tell you if uh, Keely, okay, you beat me to it. I wasn't gonna say this, but you're the first one up. So Keely said my gift would be a sensible fan base, and to be honest with you, we need that right now because there's a whole lot of how do I say this unsensible, insensible, nonsensible. That's the word. Nonsensible fans um, in the city fan base. I can't speak for other fan bases because I don't really care. Um, I'm sure they have their own set of nonsensible fans, but we seem to be struggling with it a lot lately. So I appreciate that, Keely. We could definitely benefit from a sensible fan base for sure. Uh, I would say for me, my first, and I'll list a couple of these things, but my first gift that I would give to Manchester City this holiday season is a not guilty 115 verdict, right? First of all, I just want a verdict. Of course, I want the verdict to be not guilty. But if I could give them anything, I would give them that first and foremost. That would be the first gift that I gave my club. It would get this thing over and done with. We would stop having to hear about when it's going to be, when it's going to come. Is the news going to break? This international break, that international break. When is it going to happen? And we get rid of all of the ridiculous people on Twitter, Magic Top Hat, and others. We get rid of all those folks and the whole little cottage industry of people criticizing, finding fault, using that as a means to target the club. Uh, so many emotional fans. Patience is key in our situation. We've done so well with this new project, so much talent in our hands. Yeah, for sure. Again, you talk about the sensible fan base. It's easy to kind of, because we have won quite a bit recently, I think it becomes easy for people to um, kind of have those almost demands, and that's really unfair. We've done a really great job of continuing to make progress and progress and all those things, and so uh, yeah, I think we just need some patience, or continued patience, not get the big head, not get over in doing too much. So we'll see. Spartacus says, last sprint. Hopefully, all goes well in my finals. Big ups to you, man. I didn't know you were in school, to be honest with you, but good luck to you. Um, I don't know what year you are in school. My daughter is, I got a daughter in college. So, doing the same thing, preparing for finals. We're hoping to see her for Thanksgiving. And then she's got to rush back down to school because of other obligations she's got. So, of course, anytime you cut short our time with her, mom gets a little frustrated. Okay, last year in uni, big ups. Congratulations to you, man. All yeah, definitely hope all goes well in your finals. Graduate. You don't have to tell me what your major is, but interested to know what your plans are after school and all that kind of stuff. So big ups to you, man. Uh, also appreciate you jumping on. Always appreciate the support. I'm asking the question. I know there's a couple people that have jumped on, so I'm asking the question: what, with the holiday season approaching, um, what gift would you give to your club this holiday season? So, again, if you're a Manchester City fan, what gift would you give to Manchester City um, this holiday season if you could give them anything? And again, the caveat being you can't gift them a trophy. That's too big of a stretch. But if you could give them anything, what would you give them? If you look in the chat, Keely said he would definitely gift us a sensible fan base, because we all know, especially the online fan base, Twitter fan base, whatever, can be ridiculous at times. Um, my first statement was that I would gift the club a not guilty 115 verdict this holiday season. So yeah, look forward to seeing that. Spartacus said, in Brazil, it's a bit different, doing three majors at once. economics, business, and accounting with minor in statistics. Big ups, man. That's interesting. Um, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'd be interested to know. Yeah, three majors at once. Is it still just 4 years? The typical, well, typical for the U.S. at least is 4 years. Is that same there? You said, and another minor in kind of data science. Yeah. So I work in computers, so I'm very familiar with data science. So, okay. 5 years. That makes more sense. So, okay. Yeah. This is interesting to see the difference between the countries. So is 5 years the typical time frame for a degree there in Brazil, or are you in a special program that's taking 5 years because you're doing three different majors? Like I know there are programs here in the States that you can take that might give you dual majors that may go from 4 to 5 years instead. Oh, interesting. Okay, going into football work. That's interesting. Now so I've always said, right? My if I could have a ideal job, I would be working in sports. I didn't think about that and really pursue that coming out of college at the time. Um, but I would absolutely love to work in sports. So big ups to you, man. That's awesome. You did say, okay, yeah, it's usually 4 doing a +1 for the next 2 majors. Yep, makes sense. Sweet, sweet. Big ups, Vader. Appreciate you being in the chat, man. There's a link in the chat. If you do want to jump on camera, feel free to hit that and jump on with me. But large up, I'd give my club mild weather for all city games. So yeah, big. I'm sure the match going fans would love that if nobody else did, because yeah, it can get chilly. And the players, I mean, hey, keep them warmer. So big ups for that. Uh, s- uh, Spartacus, there's a very big revolution going on behind the scenes in the football sphere. Data science is really breaking into the field. Yeah, big shout. A lot of we've heard a lot of the talk about the statistics or just all the behind the scenes. There's a word I'm looking for that is escaping me at the moment. But yeah, definitely data science is big. There's a lot of focus on the metrics and being data driven, which is happens across all industries. Um, in every part of life, but definitely on the football side as well, sports side in general as well. Um, Looking more at those metrics and the statistics, even more than just some of the gut feel, which is changing how I think changes how clubs have scouted in the past and using the data and being data driven in those metrics to say, oh well, if this person is doing X, then we can count on this person that's got these same or similar metrics probably doing the same. Nothing is a um, guaranteed or perfect science, but definitely a way to look at it. Big issues that there are very few people who actually understands football and statistics at the same time. And again, this is why I say, you know, you can probably take a lot of careers or a lot of job paths and kind of intersect them with sports, but this is definitely one that matters because again, if all you know is the numbers, then you'll look at the numbers and they'll say one thing, but then you won't have the context to be able to interpret it correctly. So I'm with you. I agree with you 100% that you need someone that or a person that has both will definitely shine much beyond the person that maybe only has one side or the other. Um, Spartacus said, "I'd give City Pedri." Okay, maybe that's a bit too far, but okay, I'm with it. Pedri um, goes into our midfield. No doubt. Good shout. So my second thing that I would give the club, So again, if you're jumping on, if you haven't heard the question of the day, at least starting out, is if you could gift your club, and again, you don't have to be a City fan, but if you are, that's fine too. If you could gift your club any gift this holiday season, what would you gift them? And the answer can't be I'd gift them the Champions League or I'd gift them the Premier League trophy or whatever, anything like that, right? That's too far. So Spartacus said he'd gift them Pedri. My first answer was I would gift our club, I'd gift Manchester City a not guilty 115 verdict, because I think we need to get that over and done with. And of course, being not guilty would be what we're all hoping for. That would be the ideal resolution to this whole situation, at least in my mind. The second thing, however, that I would gift my club is, I don't know, I'll say perfect health for Erling Haaland. Perfect health for Erling Haaland. Because while I don't think we are too dependent on him in his goals, I also recognize that he's a big part of what it is that we do. If we lost him for a significant part of any season, that's going to be an issue, right? Of course it is. Any club that loses the world's best goal scorer is going to suffer. Yes, that's it's just it is what it is. So yeah, for me, my second gift that I would give City is Erling Haaland to have perfect health throughout the rest of this season, because I think if that happens, there is a strong, strong, strong possibility that we are back in this conversation, or in the conversation about winning the league, winning Champions League. I think we can be in the conversation for every trophy. I'm not one of those people that's going to go out there like a lot of Arsenal fans seem to be doing right now, talking about the quad and all these things, winning 4 trophies and all this stuff. Win the first one, do that, and then we can have a conversation about anything beyond that. But I definitely think if Erling Haaland has continued to stay healthy, he can fire us into contention for any and every trophy out there. So I definitely believe that. Spartacus said he's right there with me. I appreciate that, because I think it feels obvious, right? We got to have him to stay healthy. Spartacus said currently working on a side project, builds an AI model to automate the process of collecting statistics, feed the database for the pre-selection of scouting. Interesting. Um, so are you, I assume you're collecting the statistics from, say, something like, let's say, FOTMob, right? FOTMob has stats for most games that have happened throughout the course of the day. So are you using that to kind of go and scrape the data off of, say, a FOTMob, or are you looking for people to feed the statistics into your system and then use that to then uh, pre-select scouting? So then I assume what you're saying based on that is, once the statistics from the matches are into your system using AI, you can say, okay, based on all these things and based on what it is we're looking for, these are the players that most likely fit what we need, and then being able to uh, use that as a starting place for scouting. That's actually a pretty good. I like that. Spartacus says the funny thing is that we are also massively reliant on Nunez being fit. That is, yes. So I didn't say him because in theory, we have a Kuzanov, and we have a to a no, I shouldn't say much lesser, to a lesser extent, we also have a Rico Lewis, right? We know, I think it's fair, if we're being honest, and if you don't have an agenda against Nunez, I think it's fair to say that we all know that he's been a big part and really been kind of indispensable to what it is that we've been doing this season. So we definitely need him to stay healthy. Um, I think there was a lot of conversation about Kuzanov earlier this season, and while I think he's been good, I don't think I don't think that he's been as good or as reliable as Nunez has been so far this season. He's been out, he got injured, he came back, and I saw earlier today, which we'll get into some of the matches from the international break. But he picked up a straight red, it looks like, on for Uzbekistan. So and got sent off. So still has a little bit of a rash nature, can be a little bit over the top, but again, I think that's still because he's young. But again, if as I believe we're in the conversation for all these trophies at the end of the year, then we're going to need someone that is reliable, someone that we can count on. And so I agree with Spartacus here that we definitely need to make sure that Nunez stays fit because we do rely on him as well. Um, I'm working with the football club, so I'm using the footage to feed the AI machine learning process. Oh, this is dope. I like the fact that you're already working with the club. Uh, is this a situation where after you graduate or when you're done and you got your degree that maybe this is a club that you get a chance to work with long term, or is this more of a what we would call an internship or something like that? That's interesting. Um, he said it will watch the matches and automate the generation of statistics. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Agreed. Keeley agrees with you, Spartacus. If Nunez goes down, we will have to change our style of play down the right. Yeah, I mean that's fair because even and I think you say something here. Even if Kuznetsov was flawless, the current system that we are using requires a fullback who is able to offer an attacking threat. Yeah. Even if Nunez, like you said, if Kuznetsov was able to play, he um, does not offer what Nunez offers. If you say, well, what about Rico Lewis in that position? Rico Lewis can do some of the things that Nunez does, but I think he's more of an inverted. He's more of an inverted right back as opposed to one that's going to overlap, create space on down the side, down the wing, because then that allows. With Nunez, of course, we know Nunez is getting up and down the sideline. That allows Cherky or whoever else, Oscar Bob, whoever, to kind of be more of an inside forward, kind of tuck in, as opposed to Rico Lewis, who wants to be in that inside space, which then forces that winger to keep that touch line spacing. So we would need Sabio on the wing, and Cherky would have to go to the bench. Uh, Probably yes. I'd hope so. Okay, that's awesome. So my kid is a PR major and she is trying to get into she played sports, played football or soccer growing up. And so looking for an opportunity to work in PR in sports um, upon graduation. So this is her junior year. So it's her third year, year three. She's got one more year after this. So yeah, she kind of doing the same thing, trying to intern with her school and their athletic program, doing a lot of stuff there, but you trying to keep an eye on what comes next. So I've seen that from a parental perspective. So big ups to you, man. I hope everything works out for you, man. Let's see. Good evening. Big up, Magnus. Appreciate you jumping on, brother. Well done. Keep working hard on your finals. Yep. Much love for Spartacus. Let's see. Rico, Nunes, and Kuzanov are all different profiles when they play at right back. Lewis always wants to be inside the pocket, tie up the pitch. Kuzanov is more of a third center back, and then Nunes overlaps. That's actually a really great way to um, kind of I won't say pigeonhole, but to summarize how each of them plays because they are each different. And this is exactly what you would see. Like I said, Lewis wants to be in that inside pocket. Nunez is going to be overlapping on the outside. So yeah, great shout there. Okay, I'd like City. So this goes back to the question: what would you give to your club for Christmas or for the holiday season? Because I know that everybody doesn't celebrate Christmas. So this holiday season, if you could gift your club anything, what would you gift them? Magnus said, "I'd like City to have decent officials and VAR decisions for Christmas." All right, fair enough. You know what's funny? It's funny because I've already seen Arsenal fans, Arsenal content creators, especially on Twitter, but even on here on YouTube, already going out and complaining about the referee for a match that doesn't even include City. But oh well, we got this ref for and they did this and they that and the other, and it's like, dude, you still have like 4 days before this game even happens, and you're already complaining about things that haven't even happened yet. How delusional must these people be? It's like, do you not have anything better to do with your time than to just complain about something that hasn't even happened? It doesn't even make any sense. It's just, it is utterly ridiculous. Snoopy said, I work in sports PR. Experience is the best thing. Here for schools. This idea needs help. Best thing she can do. Yeah, she's doing social media right now. She's an intern for this athletic department. So she's working with a bunch of schools. I mean, a bunch of different sports each season. Doing social media, reels, all the things. I've actually asked her about maybe switching to her internship to the uh, sports information department just to see if that gives her a different experience, things that she can learn, just gives her a different feel. But big ups to you, man. I didn't know you did that. Maybe one of these days I'll reach out to you on Twitter and see if she can't pick your brain, looking for ideas on how to not just get a job, but to excel at it. So big up, man. Do you happen to? Nah, you don't have to tell me. I know we're fans of the same uh, college football, American football team. Uh, you have any by chance? Are you working with them? You can just say yes or no. You don't have to say the name of the team. I don't want to get you in no trouble. Uh, Tell her to not be afraid of working for free. At least here in Brazil, you need to build a massive network of connections inside the clubs. Yeah, so she's working for her school. It is obviously an unpaid um, internship. We are trying to see what the summer is going to look like. Ooh, okay. uh, all righty. Work for an NBA team. Big ups, man. That's dope. I remember, sorry, I'm going to take you guys down a little trip. I remember going from campus, taking the train out to what's the name of the arena? Is it American Airlines? I don't know. It doesn't sound right. But out to the arena because that's when we used to play out there. Miami used to play out there. I remember seeing. Um, this goes show my age, but I remember seeing Ray Allen. No, Rip Hamilton. Was it Rip Hamilton? I think it was Rip Hamilton. Give us the business. It was like the quietest 35, 20, quietest like 30 points you could ever see. Um, yeah, so I would have been there, like I said, around 95. Um, so yeah. All right. I'm trying to keep up with the progress of the field. It's advancing very hard. Um, IT technology in general is absolutely one of those things that is constantly advancing. As someone who works in that space, um, and is, whether I'm hiring or whatever, it is something that you have to keep on top of, because to your point, there are always new things coming out, new approaches, new ways of doing things, all that. So I can only imagine what data science is looking like today, what it'll look like tomorrow, and then all the different applications with AI and all that kind of stuff. But I'm glad to know that someone is going into the field. So big ups to you, man. Like I said, that's really dope, and I really hope it works out for you. We're looking forward to seeing where you end up one of these days. Keely to Magnus is very interesting, but also doesn't surprise me as he's very knowledgeable for football analytics and statistics and AI that turns footage into stats. Sounds so techie, amazing. Yeah, like I said, it is dope. And there's all these different tools that are, especially like as a parent, right? If you played, then your parents were probably on the sideline with the video camera trying to, or their phone, trying to make sure they captured your match and got it on video, especially if you were playing competitively, because I'm going to use this um to send to recruiters and all of this stuff, right? To try to at least in the US, here in the US, you had to do that. So you're constantly trying to capture the match, but you're trying to watch the game, but also record at the same time. And this is all over the place. It's just not great. So I know they've got tools intended to capture the video, to help capture the video using AI. But then to take that a step further and to be able to track stats and stuff like that from it, and then take it from an individual but to a whole team and all that kind of stuff. So that's really dope. Like I said, I'm really excited to see where that goes. All right. The question that I've been asking everyone today is, if you could gift your club any gift this holiday season, what would you gift to your club? Again, the answer can't be I'd gift them a Champions League trophy or I'd gift them a Premier League trophy. You can't give away trophies. But if you could give them anything else, what would you give them? So I said I would give Manchester City a not guilty 115 verdict this holiday season, and then because it gets it off our back, I would also gift us perfect health for um, Erling Holland, because that makes a big difference as well. So big ups. Uh, if I miss your comment in the chat, please forgive me. Again, it is not because I am not trying; it is because I am uh, trying to do both things at once. So, all right, shift topics for a moment. Let's talk the international break. Big ups, Dylan, making spaghetti. Ate some of that last night, so big ups to you. Um, I don't know how much you heard, but I asked a question early on. If you could gift your club anything this holiday season, what would your gift to your club be? Can't be a trophy. Can't gift them a trophy. Uh, Stoopy said, I said yours with the 115. Definitely, I said I would gift them a not guilty 115 verdict, and I would give Holland perfect health, because I think both of those things are necessary. Um, but you also said, let's see, um, I would wish the club resolves all these ticketing issues. Okay, I was going to jump into that too. Let's go ahead and talk about this for a minute. Um, so we all know, and again, this one of those things where I don't feel best placed to actually speak on it, because I'm not in the UK. I'm not Manchester based, but I'm a fan of this club, and I'm a fan of a lot of the people that are local, and I don't want to see anybody get taken advantage of. Uh, looks like Magnus was able to figure out what uh, what Spartacus would give as a gift. Yes, it was Pedri. He absolutely said Pedri right from the very beginning. So you know him very well. Called him out. Good choice. Um, but there's just been consistent issues with the club, and a lot of it is based on ticketing and just how that has worked. Going back to last season, um, and the changes to the um, season ticket policy, and then having how many matches you have to go to, and an inability to just gift your ticket to anybody else. You have to gift it. You have to go, unless of course they have a membership and whatever, and then maybe you can gift it to them, but you only got three different people you can list. It's just a lot of stuff that is unnecessary, and it's causing issues for folks. I hate to see working class folks disenfranchised. Yeah, it's just making it harder for people to attend. And as a club, you would want to make it easier. You want to make it easier for people to attend so that we can be sold out every single night. And again, maybe every single night is a stretch when you're, our fan base, as many people will say, isn't as big as maybe a Man U or an Arsenal, some of the London clubs or whatever, right? That we're not even trying to be. We're not even trying to compete with that. But we have enough that we could sell out. I really believe that every night if we didn't just do dumb stuff. And it's like, why do we keep doing dumb things, man? Come on. And so now the most recent thing previously was the decision to, okay, we're going to take 500 seats from the north stand and turn that into clubs and into this venue that has seating and stuff whatever built in. So it's just like you're taking away again from people who have been in these seats for in many cases years, um some cases over 10 years, and you're forcing them to change. It just doesn't make any sense. And now I saw today, I saw a tweet earlier today that basically said, um, I guess via GoGo, that was one of the things that we did last season as well. We signed a contract with Viagogo as one of our sponsors. And so again, instead of, like, we complain, and by we I mean the club and others complain about, like, the MCFC tickets or Man City tickets or whatever the Twitter handle might be on Twitter, but we complain because they're on there and they're helping people who maybe I've got a ticket that I can't use, and you can connect with other people and you can get that ticket bought. And as far as I know, I have no reason to know this. I haven't used them, but as far as I know, it's all being done um, in a basically what you paid for it is exactly what you would pay for these people to, there's no markups or anything like that. And we're just, so we went with Viagogo, and now those tickets that you can't get rid of, and the club won't let you work with this Twitter account to get rid of, and to get to somebody that wants to be there. Now Viagogo is jacking those prices up, selling it for a profit over and above what it is that, um, over and above what it actually cost. And so I did see today, let's see if I can't pull this up here. Let me pull up Twitter. Or uh, the social media account formerly known as Twitter. Come on, what are we doing here? So I assume most of you have already seen this, but just in case you haven't, we'll share it on the screen and we'll talk about it a bit. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's switch this. Yeah. So, in light of today's news that Viagogo's additional online fees are being investigated by the competition watchdog, this is from 1894. Again, if you're familiar with Martin's channel, like many of you are, then you've probably heard this or seen this. Um, But again, Viagogo is under investigation. There were complaints, there were frustration, a lot of frustration that was raised when the club even brought them on last season as a sponsor. And it was like, what are we doing? Again, they're known for marking up these tickets over and above what it costs. So why are we allowing them to sponsor the club or being connected to them? So here is 1894 saying, in light of the news that Viagogo is additional online fees are being investigated by the competition watchdog. We join with other Manchester City supporter groups calling for City to suspend using Viagogo whilst this happens and to release their allocation to normal fans. Um, and again, there's uh, the write up there from them that just simply goes on to say, on March 27, 2025, Manchester City proudly announced a global partnership with Viagogo, describing them as a trusted distribution platform, a description at odds with the experience of many football fans and concert goers who consider them to be legalized touts. And I assume that word touts there. I don't know how you pronounce that, but again, my point here is it was known back in March, right? Everybody said back then that this was an issue. People were upset. People were concerned. And it's like, did Manchester City ask no one? Did they not run this past anybody? Did anyone in the organization anywhere have anything to say about this? But anyway, they go on to say a few days later, Manchester City fan groups organized hugely successful and well-supported protests within the stadium as fans feared the worst in terms of ticket pricing and worries that the club's reputation would be damaged by this association. The action received strong support from the Football Supporters Association, who described Premier League clubs as being happy to cozy up to companies who are only interested in making money, exploiting supporter loyalty. This morning, Tuesday, the 18th of November, the Competition and Markets Authority revealed that they have opened an investigation into a wide range of companies, including Viagogo, over online pricing practices. And so, again, while that is ongoing, we urge the club to follow good practices, suspend their official partner status, and temporarily halt all business arrangements with this company, especially related to match tickets, until the investigation is completed and outcome known. You can see the rest there, but definitely hope that there is a better resolution, because it does suck to be a fan of a club. I'm here in the States, but I know that people right next door, down the street, around the corner, feel like they're being left out, feel like they're being left behind. I just want to be a fan. I don't want to be prioritized. I don't want to be focused on or anything like that. I just want to be a fan, man. And I want to be able to support the club without having to question um, what's going to happen to the people who have loved this club well before I did, right? They've been supporters forever, and now they feel like, whatever. So that sucks, but I hope, like you said, Snoopy, I definitely hope that we can see some resolution there, and a resolution that works out for everybody, and not just one of those things where we find, oh, we got it worked out today, and then 3 weeks later is another problem. I'm with you, Magnus. So many different missteps in by club where tickets and seats are concerned. Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's all in this same area. I don't play tennis, never have, but I understand the idea of an unforced error, and this feels like an unforced error by the club. It's like nothing is happening. You're just making really silly decisions, and that's unfortunate. Red Camp, big up, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for jumping over and stopping by. Red Camp says Guardiola wants Arda Güler from Real Madrid. Apparently, we are linked to him, but where is he going to play? We already have Foden in Turkey. So I saw this. I see all these kinds of things that pop up, and quite honestly, go away, stop sharing. Um, I just assume that there's um, a lot of talk that doesn't really amount to, is not real. And it's just a lot of stuff that's going on. You know, people saying things. It's what they call it, the silly season when we get towards the international break. Yeah, the international break, we get close to the window being open here in about a month or so. So I think things just come out that, yep, welcome to international break. Things that come out that aren't necessarily based in reality. Now, that doesn't mean that he doesn't like him as a player, because I'm sure he probably does. He seems to be a really good kid, really good talent. I don't watch a lot of Real Madrid matches, to be fair, so I don't know, but it would not surprise me if he admires the player. But I think it's probably step too far to assume that we're going to make any type of move to try to bring him in or anything like that. Um, every time I hear Pep once, I automatically dismiss it. Ditto. Yeah, I think that's probably the safest thing, because you never know what's actually real or not real, and so um, it's easier to just assume that it's all fake. It's all fake news, to borrow a phrase. It's all fake news until it's proven to be real. So yeah, I don't have any belief in this. All right, give me one sec. So in the international break, obviously there's a lot of matches that have happened, club matches, not club matches, excuse me, national team matches. Um, especially preparing for the World Cup coming up, all of that stuff. One of the things that has stood out to me over the last couple of days is just how much, or how polarizing, let's say it that way, how polarizing Jude Bellingham has become. I am not a England fan. I'm not a, I'm from the States. So I'm not an England fan. And to be fair, I was one of the people that wanted Jude Bellingham when we thought we could get him from Borussia Dortmund. I gotta be honest. I thought we were going to get him, and I thought that, hey, I want him on our team. Whatever we got to do, make it happen. At the time, um, I was good with letting Gundogan go, let Gundo go, because I thought we were gonna go get Jude Bellingham. Um, since that point in time, and maybe somebody would say, "Oh, you're just butthurt because you guys didn't bring him in. He didn't sign with you. He went to Real Madrid." That might be one way of looking at it, but I don't think that's it, to be honest with you. Um, what I have seen from him since has been so frustrating. I think that it feels to me like he is maybe overhyped, over celebrated. And so um, this week, yeah, I would have loved to have a player like Jude Bellingham at Manchester City, not gonna lie. And again, at the time, I felt the same way. My question for you, Red Camp, is, do you still feel that way? Because while I felt that way at the time, I would hate for this guy to be here right now. His attitude, his demeanor, the he feels like he's entitled. It drives me batty, and I'm not even an English fan, right? I'm not a fan of the English national team. But what I've realized is just how polarizing he's become, because a lot of English fans don't like him either. Um, English fans, people in general, don't like when someone get too big for their britches. We prefer humility over huge ego. And maybe that's what it is. It feels like he believes he believes he's the greatest. And I think you have to have a little bit of that to really hit those heights, but I don't think he's backed it up on the pitch. There's been a lot of games where he's ghosted, a lot of stuff that is just, I don't know. I'm trying to talk and then read the chat at the same time. This Bellingham conversation isn't happening. You're hearing things, I promise. Uh, Spartacus says he has an agenda against them. Uh, Red Camp says Foden is better than Bellingham right now on form, and I think on form that's definitely true. But what is, like I said, it spoke to me. Um, Missed out on Bellingham, zoned in on Rice too late in the process. Paqueta got charged, ended up buying Nunes. Yes, and we ended up with a right back instead of a defensive midfielder, or at least an eight. So yeah, that was crazy how that all worked out. But it is amazing to me how polarizing Jude Bellingham has become. It felt like, it was just maybe City fans. I feel like people up and down the UK, across the world, are all saying the same thing. And you kind of saw it in some of the conversations that have taken place online, on Twitter, or whatever. People talking about Jude and his apparent frustration when he got subbed, and just the mentality, the attitude. Like, again, I think it was like 4 minutes left in the match that didn't really matter for anything. You were already advancing. You're already going in the World Cup. So it's like, if you're going to complain about anything, why would you complain about this being substituted in this match at this point in the match? It gives you the ability to go back to Real Madrid healthy, all of those things. It just didn't make any sense, and no one could understand it. And so, again, people are very frustrated with Jude Bellingham. And again, like I said, it spoke to me about how polarizing he is. So then I had to ask myself, who is the most polarizing player that I'm aware of, whether it be for my national team or if it be for a club team? It doesn't even have to be footy. It could be a different sport altogether. And I'm opening up to the chat. Who do you believe are the most polarizing players that you are familiar with? And again, as an American, I'm going to say a name that for a lot of people, maybe they don't feel this way. I think Landon Donovan was pretty polarizing to a certain extent, especially late in his career, when he did not get brought to the 2014. I don't know which World Cup it was. But what's the manager? Jurgen Klinsmann did not bring him, and he lost his mind and whatever. It was like, it became a big deal, and people took sides. Either he has to go, he's the best player to ever play for the US, he has to be there, or no, he's not good enough anymore. And yeah, 2014. I thought it was 2014, but then I was like, if I add, oh yeah, I guess 12 years make it 2026. That makes sense. All right, so I should have did the math in my head at the time. So yeah, 2014. I wasn't a fan of Landon Donovan, especially after that. And I guess to a certain extent, to go back to, I think it was Magnus, or was it Magnus, or yeah, Magnus, talking about people not liking when you get too big for your britches. I guess I realize this about myself. I'm the same way. I love people to have, big, or be confident. I don't even think I just want it to be deserved. I just want it to be deserved. So I don't know. Um, Red Camp says it's Mbappe or Ronaldo. Magnus says asking Spartacus to comment on Bellingham is like asking Allen to comment on Nunes. Yeah, so I think he called Nunes. I think he calls Nunes a bus driver or truck driver or something like that. I don't know the rationale for why he says that, but obviously he's not a fan, right? So yeah, I understand Spartacus could maybe not be a fan of Bellingham. I'm not a fan of Bellingham, so I'm not mad at that. What other players are? What other players might be polarizing? just keeping it with the US, I think to a certain extent, Christian Pulisic is a little polarizing right now. And again, I have an issue, and you got to forgive me. Gia Reyna is pretty polarizing, yes. And I thought that he was actually one of the best players, best talents on the US team. And it always sucked because, again, I felt like, so I have an issue with the US national team. I just got to say this, right? I feel like they pick and choose who they are going to promote, and then they make us feel as if that player is the best. They tell us who the best player is. They tell us who we're supposed to, you know, who they want to be the face of the club or the team. I feel like they chose Landon Donovan. I feel like they chose uh, Christian Pulisic. If you ask me who the most important player on the team was, for most of the time, it was Tyler Adams in the midfield. I would say that Weston McKennie was probably just as good. But why is it that Christian Pulisic was the face? I thought Gio Reyna was the best player probably altogether. Of course, he's had some injuries. He hasn't put it together. But then he had the issue at the last World Cup where um, had issues with the manager. And so now, gets his parents get involved. It becomes this whole big to do, and it feels like I'm back with my kid because youth sports is probably the worst, and parents are the worst in youth sports. And so here we had a situation happening on the national team stage where parents are being parents, are getting involved in things that don't concern them instead of just letting their kids play, do what they do, letting the managers manage. And again, these are all things that I learned over time. But Gio Reyna definitely suffered from that. And again, a lot of people have picked sides, but you can't have your parents stepping into a situation when you're an adult. You're playing a professional sport, man. Parents can't be getting involved on your side. That's just ridiculous. Snoopy said CR7. Yeah, he's pretty. Again, it's one of those things where you love him or you hate him. I'm with you. There's a lot of people that do hate him. uh, Danielle, Daniel agrees with me. Agreed on the marketing promotion 100%. Yeah, they definitely have chosen who they want to be the face, and that's who gets pushed, as opposed to letting the play on the pitch decide. So yeah, 100% agree. Appreciate that. Um, there's millions of players better than Ronaldo right now. Ronaldo, it's over. Guy is 41 years old, needs to give his place up, but he is too selfish. That's very, very polarizing. Again, yeah. How do you think it feels to be a player on that Portugal team? Again, he decided he's going to go over to Saudi, right? If you don't want to play on his Saudi club team, whatever. But there's no reason that he should be leading the line for Portugal at this point. If Portugal don't have a better number 9 than Ronaldo at this point in his career, not Ronaldo again. I was never a Ronaldo fan. Let's just be honest, right? I was never a Ronaldo fan, but I can recognize that he was talented. I can recognize that what he did. He scored a bunch of goals. He did a lot of things. Again, a lot of it was set up for him, focus on him. But hey, I can't be mad at that. But now at this point in your career, there's no way Portugal don't have better strikers than that. I just don't believe it. Imagine Giancarlo Ramos thinks he should start, but Ronaldo is the country's idol. Yeah. So again, you can't even say anything because because of how polarizing he is, there are millions of people that, again, he's the idol, but not just in Portugal, around the world. You're going to get so much hate just for even saying I should be starting over this dude. But the reality is, it should probably be starting over dude. So he's 41, guys. Come on, it's not Ronaldo from 2013 or 14. I agree, and that's what I'm saying. I can acknowledge what he was, but he ain't that no more. He's not. And quite honestly, Messi's probably a little not too far behind. I'm just gonna be honest. Messi's probably not too far behind. So I don't know. Red Kemp said, uh, I would say Cancelo. I'd like to hear more about this one. Why do you think? What is it about Cancelo that made him feel polarizing to you? Was this when he was leaving the club, and there were the rumors or the conversations, the talking points about him beefing with Pep and all that? Is that what made him polarizing? Was he polarizing before that? Um, what is it about Cancelo that made him polarizing? I'm not saying he's not. Just trying to understand um, what it was that made him polarizing for you. Uh, wait, during the treble year, he was a liability, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I definitely think he was defensively a liability for sure. There was so much that he offered going forward, and it was just so new because we had this right-footed player playing on the left, but yet getting forward, getting into midfield, making these beautiful Trivela passes outside of the boot. It was what he was able to do on the ball was beautiful, beautiful. But then there were times, and this seems to happen to a lot of City players for some reason. We got that high line, that ball gets booted out, and Salah just post up Cancelo, wins the ball one on one with the keeper, and it's like you got to be better. You can't get turned. You can't get just kind of stiff armed, if you want to use a American football term. Just got beasted, and it's like, come on. And it not just happened to him. I think it happened to Rico Lewis a couple times. It's just like no matter who we threw out there, unless it was Kyle Walker, they were getting turned. And of course, Kyle became polarizing toward the end. It's like it was just crazy. Must be a Portuguese thing. I don't know, man. I mean, Bernardo Silva seems to be okay. Now, if you ask Liverpool fans, they would say he's probably a little polarizing. So maybe it is a Portuguese thing. I don't know. I don't know. Vinny seems to be polarizing fairly on. I think that's a good shout too. I think, and I've changed again. This is one of those things where I've changed how I feel about him. I thought he was really dynamic. I liked him, and it just drives me batty every time I watch him. It's like, oh my God, shut up, go sit down. So it's just like really frustrating for me watching him. So yeah, I understand why he could be polarizing as well. Yeah, so good shout there on Vinny. All right, let's do a quick rundown of the matches that have happened today. Can I? Yeah. All right, we'll run through. Oh, as a Brazilian, Vinny is ish. Okay, I don't curse, so I'm not going to repeat it, but you can see what's on your screen. Uh, Vinny is trash. Wow. Now did that change for you, Spartacus? Is it something that you've always felt that way, or as again his profile kind of like a Jude Bellingham, where you kind of started to believe your own hype. You started to believe that you're better than you actually are. And now no one can tell you anything. You start to feel entitled. Because to me, like I think I liked him. And I know one of the things that turned me from him definitely is that thank you, Snoopy. Thank you. I was getting ready to say this. Since the Ballon d'Or snub has been on a downward trajectory, in my opinion, he said he'd do it 10 times if he had to. How about just do it once? That that as a City fan, that's like the ultimate disrespect for my player. So now I can't get with you. You can't do that. You go out there and you prove it. You earn it on whether you agree, you disagree. You go out there and you earn it. Because reality is, if anybody should have been complaining, Holland should have been complaining when he didn't win because they gave it to Messi. And you can tell me, well, it's because Messi did X, Y, and Z with his national team. I don't really care. Holland deserved the Ballon d'Or that year. He didn't get it. You know who else should have been complaining? Lewandowski, I think, had a year where he should have won it, but I think it went to Messi again. So there are plenty of people who should have won it and didn't. But I don't think any of them, and again, I haven't been paying as close attention to some of you. So maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong in the chat. That's fine. But I just don't know if anybody acted the way that Vinny did. But not only Vinny, but then the entire club acted this way. So again, it's like I lose any respect that I might have had for Real Madrid. I lose it because it's like, how do you act that way and think it's okay when you just because your player didn't win? Again, as if you have some divine right. Uh, yeah, maybe it's a Madrid thing. Very, very possible. Very possible. Magnus said has he become a worse player since he went to Real Madrid? So again, thinking about Vinny, did he change? Did he become worse since he went to Real Madrid? Um, oops. He said, I never really rated the guy as highly, never close to a Ballon d'Or level. All right, fair enough. Um, fair enough. Vinny wasn't even the best player on his team that year. He scored the same amount of goals as JP Mateta. Funny stuff. Club enabled that behavior. Yep. Because again, at that year, I think to your point, it was him and Jude kind of going back and forth. Both felt like they deserved it. Both felt like they got snubbed. And so, yeah, it's just ridiculous. Oh, Ballon d'Or was canceled when Lewandowski should have won it. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. He should have won it. That was probably COVID. That was probably the COVID year. Went to Madrid too early. Basically developed inside Madrid. Yeah. And developed the attitude that goes along with it. So that's crazy. Kind of sucks, but um, it is what it is. Jude won La Liga Player of the Year. Yeah. So again, to your point, Vinny wasn't even the best player or considered the best player on his team. So it's kind of crappy to think that you should have won Ballon d'Or. All right, let's take a look at the matches that happened today. Oh, wait. I just seen sorry. Just seen this chat pop up. And oh my God. Oh my God. I wish I had that that sound. Arteta is polarizing. Yes, he is. Oh my God. I understand that Mikel Arteta was formerly a City assistant coach, right? I respect him for that. I respect the fact that he played for Everton and all the things that he did as a player. I cannot stand that dude right now. And I pray to God that we never bring that dude to City. His demeanor. So the thing that turned me off of him the most, because when he left, I was like, okay, whatever, again, go ahead. We hope that our coaches or coaches from if you're a manager, you hope that your assistants are going to go off and get opportunities and succeed, right? So I'm sure Pep wants to see him do that. I get it. But when you literally just left our dugout and now you're standing on the other side and you're kicking the ball away, you're holding the ball, trying to keep it from KDB and all this stuff. Dude, oh, it turned me off so bad. I cannot stand that dude to this day. So yeah, I am not an Arteta fan, and he is absolutely polarizing, at least to me. Now, maybe no, I think it's fair to say a lot of people don't like that dude. Arteta, aka Lego Head. I've heard a number of their fans mention how cringe his press conferences are. Yeah. Again, dude, you go out and buy a dog and name the dog Win, but you haven't won anything. What are we doing? You have this dinner and you set your players up to get pickpocketed. The stuff that you are doing is so ridiculously over the top. So ridiculously over the top that it just makes no sense. I was just like, what are we doing? KDB definitely bullied him on the sideline. Yeah, and I was so happy to see KDB do that. It's like, dude, you were just with us, but now, so he kind of gave him that little stiff arm. Yeah, I would have gave it to him too. Man, what are we doing? I cannot. I don't like that dude. I'm probably never going to like him again. So please, Manchester City, do not bring that dude anywhere near our club. World of difference between a player like Holland, who is elite while also being humble, an excellent role model. You don't need an oversized ego to succeed. And I think, and again, it feels like that is obvious, right? It feels like everybody should agree and would agree that for as many goals as Holland is scoring and all the things that he is doing, he's still a really down to earth dude. People seem to love him. I think that's demonstrated by the fact that if I were to pull up YouTube and check to see how many subscribers his channel has, it's probably 500,000, if not a million or whatever it is, right? Ridiculous because people want to see, they're not City fans. They're not even Norway fans. They're just fans of this dude. He's like, you want to say he's a robot, he's a monster, he's a beast, he's all these things. It's like the best goal scorer, but you get a chance to see him. So I mean, again, I asked the question one time in one of these sessions, who would you want to see as a YouTuber or as a content creator? He is great. We get to see him off the pitch in this other side of him. And so, yeah, it feels like, you know, most people would say he's humble, he's all these things. There's nothing to dislike about him other than just he's not on my team. Now, that's my opinion, and I happen to be a fan of the club that he plays for. So maybe people feel like I'm biased. I don't think I am, but maybe we'll see. All right, let's check to see what happened in the matches today because I know there's some things that I want to get to. So let's do this real quick. All right. So in World Cup qualification today, we had Kosovo tie 1-1 with Switzerland. I don't know. And again, he's not, I mean, technically, he's still a City fan. Um, City fan, he's still a City player. Let's see. Yep. Akanji played 6.6 rating in a 1-1 draw for them. You see Granit Xhaka. I don't really know anybody on Kosovo, so we'll move on. But Switzerland 1-1 draw. Sweden 1-1 with Slovenia. 0-0 Greece. Scotland won 4-2. And if I am correct, that put Scotland into the World Cup. I think that actually won them a berth. Yeah, so here's an article um, from Jodo will be smiling over me. Robertson in bits after Scotland's World Cup qualification. Andy Robertson getting World Cup, Scotland being qualified for the World Cup. So big ups to Scotland. I didn't watch, obviously, I'm working, but big ups to them in being able to pull this out 4-2. Looks like there was a so yeah, 4-2. There's a red card for Denmark. Uh, oh wow, it was McTominay scored, who's been really good for them. Been really good since he's left United. To be fair, uh, so McTominay scored early in the match, 3rd minute. Hoyland goes and gets a penalty, converts it, um, ties it up. They get the player sent off in the 62nd. Shanklin gets a goal. They tie it back up with Dorgu, and then 2 goals in the 90 in stoppage time, 90 plus 3, 90 plus 8 to advance. FIFA 38th ranked Scotland beating Denmark. Big ups to Scotland. I think they said it's the first time in like 28 years or something like that. So big up to them. Yeah, 2 late goals. Somebody called him Mixed Sauce scored a bicycle kick. See, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the goal. Um, so yeah, that's the McLean goal was from halfway. Okay, I gotta find the video for this. I gotta watch these goals back. Red Camp says, I actually hate Havertz and Gabrielle more than Arteta. Nope, not for me. Not for me. I don't like those guys, but not as much as I dislike Arteta. But hey, that's a me problem, man. You know, you're more than entitled to your opinion. You can even like Arteta if you want. Um, I just I'm just not a fan. All right, so that was the Scotland match. Again, like I said, them qualifying for the World Cup is a big deal, and I think it's an expanded World Cup, so more teams are getting in. So I think that's huge for them. Like I said, I think it's been the first time in 28 years. So uh, big ups. Spain drew 2-2 with Turkey. I would try to pronounce it appropriately. I'm just gonna butcher it. I don't want to be disrespectful, so we'll leave it. Just call it Turkey. Spain would go up 1-0. Turkey gets 2 goals in the 42nd, 54th. Or yards. I can't say his name. Or Oyarzabal gets a goal in the 62nd that ends up being um, the last goal of the match, ties it up. Whatever happened to this guy? I know there was one point we were linked to him a couple of seasons ago. I don't know if that was before we went and got Ferran Torres, how far back it was. Um, but I remember being linked with him, and uh, no, didn't decided to go a different way. So yeah, 2-2 for Spain. Of course, we knew Nico Gonzalez wasn't going to be called up. So on one hand, it sucks for him because he's competing with Marino and Zubamendi in midfield. He would be competing with Rodri if Rodri was back and healthy. So didn't play, but I think his performance deserves a chance. So with his national team. So we'll see. So that is that match. In Group H, Austria, Bosnia Herzegovina, Romania beat San Marino 7-1. Belgium spanked Liechtenstein 7-0. And this is where I wanted to get to. Van Aken scored in the 3rd. Doku scored in the 34th. In the 41st, I saw one of those goals on my phone. Somebody said Harjeza turning on a show again. Again, he is playing lights out. Dude is playing lights out. And there's the conversation. People are having the conversation again. Oh, should we go get Rodrigo? Should we go get Rodrigo? If anybody is looking at what this dude is doing and saying we should go get Rodrigo, I'm questioning what are we looking at? This dude has been unplayable. Again, it's Liechtenstein. I get it, but you still got to put the ball in the back of the net. Still got to do it. Doku and the Ketelare. Again, I'm an American. I'm butchering names. I'm sorry. But they start in a thumping win. Secured their spot at the 2026 World Cup in some style as they ran riot against Liechtenstein at the Stade Maurice Dufresne, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, so I think I saw a quote from him when they were talking. I think they drew their last match. I think I was watching some of that, and they ended up with a draw. And there was the conversation after was about, oh well, you're missing KDB and you're missing um, Romelu Lukaku and you're missing all these players. And he said basically, if we need them to advance to the World Cup, then we don't deserve to be in the World Cup. And I love that quote. I love that mentality. Look, we're not KDB's not walking through that door to save us. Romelu Lukaku's not walking through that door to save us. He put the club, he put the team on his shoulders and got them through. He's young, but he as far as I can tell, he seemed to be the face of this Belgium team at the moment. He is their star. Yeah, you got people like Tillemans and all these other players that are on the Decathlon, but at the end of the day, Doku is like the man for them. You can see it by the way that they allow him to play pretty much a free role. He's on the right, he's on the left, he's popping up in the middle, he's all over the pitch. 2 goals and an assist, same as the Ketelari. Yeah, that's a major, another great showing for him. 9.4, highest rated player on the pitch, which when you score 7, there's going to be a lot of high scores. But 9.4, big ups to him, man of the match, according to Fat Mob. Let's see. I see some chats in here. I think we definitely need a right winger because Savinho and Oscar Bob are not it. So I do think that they have been underwhelming, in my opinion. They've been underwhelming. But I'm also, I don't want to make the mistake of quitting on a player too soon. I think they both have immense talent. I don't know yet if they're going to ever put it together fully. I know what Savinho has done, right? Not in the Premier League, but I know that he's had an amazing season in La Liga, where he ended up with almost 20 GNA. May have been more than 20. I think it was like 19, 20 GNA that season in a top level league. He didn't do it in he didn't do it in the Netherlands. He didn't do it in Portugal. He did it in Spain. So I know what he can do. Now, again, every league is different. So maybe he just doesn't fit the Premier League. Maybe he doesn't fit the way we play. All those things are real possibilities. But I'd be concerned about moving off of him too soon because I do think he has talent. I also believe that Oscar Bob, again, we know Oscar Bob, assuming that he gets the call up for his national team, which I'm assuming that he will, he'll be in the World Cup this season, thanks to Holland and the rest. Well, thanks to Holland. I'm going to give anybody else respect. Thanks to Holland. So I think they definitely need to show better but I think it's too soon to rule them out completely. Spartacus said Rodrigo is not going to come play on the right wing. Know this for a fact. He doesn't want to play on the right wing for Real Madrid. Definitely not going to change and go someplace else and just be shuttled out to the right wing. So I don't, and there's no way that I would put him on the left over over Daku. Not there's no way. Uh, that the Ketelari is actually very good. Yeah, I don't know him. I know the name, but yeah, I was under the impression he was pretty good. Spartacus doesn't matter. Bring me Elise, fam. Yeah. Now again, I asked the question earlier today, right when we first started the show. I asked the question: if you could give any gift to your club, you could gift your club any gift this holiday season outside of just gifting them a trophy. What would you give? Spartacus said he would gift us Pedri. I think Elise would be a very popular choice for at least for Manchester City's fan base. Probably a lot of fan bases would love to give Elise to their club. But yeah, I'm not mad at this. Not mad at this. I think he's got a lot of talent. I don't think he would leave Bayern right now. I don't know that he would either, but uh, if I'm giving gifts out, then I don't care. I'm giving you to Manchester City, and we're gonna keep on going. Very technical for a big lad, isn't he, Spartacus? Yeah. Magnus said, I don't know where Rodrigo would fit in, and I like him as a player, just unfortunate timing. I mean, I think he had his chance this summer window, regardless of whether we decided not to bring him or he decided not to come. I don't know. That's for someone else to argue and to debate. But what I know is if you talk about timing, and I don't know if these things are related, I have no reason to think that they are, other than it sparked something in Doku, and he has been insane ever since. So I I appreciate just the conversation because I think it was enough to fire up Doku, and now he's playing in a way that, like I said, he's unplayable. Snoopy said he's really starting to assert himself in games, showing leadership off the pitch. Decision making is vastly improved. Understanding how to influence games. Yeah, talking about Doku, he's been dope, and dude has been really really good. Um, they were trying to get him the ball at every opportunity, and he delivered. Yeah. So again, he's showing what he has, showing why it was that the club went out and bought him. And I want to say that he came recommended by KDB. That's the story that I heard at the time. But he's definitely come good. It took a couple of seasons, but he's come good. He's coming good, and so uh, definitely excited to see what he is now, but what he'll continue to be as he continues to develop, continues to mature as a player. Because I definitely don't think that he's hit his ceiling. I think there's more. There's more to come from him. Um. All right, I'm gonna keep moving because I'm not gonna catch up if I try to go through all those. But again, I appreciate you all in the comment section. I appreciate you all having dialogue with each other. It's all dope. I love it. Um, Apparently, it was Cheeky who wanted Doku and made the final call. Yes, I thought he came from like he was referred, if you want to use that term, by KDB, of course, playing with him on the Belgium national team. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But whoever's call it was the right call. So, yeah. Dylan, this was gonna be my third. Give me prime Rodri again for my Christmas gift. Now, maybe I can't say prime Rodri, but if I could say a 100% healthy and fit Rodri, not because I don't think that Nico G hasn't been great, but I don't want to just swap one irreplaceable player with another, right? Because as long as Rodri is not healthy, he's out, then we kind of have to play Nico G. And if Nico G is not playing, then we miss out in the midfield. We saw that when we played the match. We tried to put Reinders at the six. That's not his ministry. That's not his thing. He needs to be someplace else. Needs to be as an eight, or even maybe as a 8-10 hybrid, whatever you want to call it, but not as a six, not in the Premier League. So I don't think he can play as a six in the Premier League. So um, I do see Spartacus say Reinders will fill this hole. I don't know if you're talking about. Oh no, you're talking about Bernardo leaving soon. Okay, that makes more sense to me. I'm with that. Um, I just don't see how he plays as a six. So we need Rodri to come back healthy. So we have both Rodri and Nico G. Um, we can give both of them rest and also play them together when necessary. So yeah, I'm definitely on that train as well. I definitely want to fully fit Rodri back, but Nico G is maybe a lot more calm. Again, I agree, right? So before it was we had to rush to get Rodri back. I'm not even in a rush right now. When he gets back, he gets back. But I also know that this is the same position we were in with Rodri, where if he went down, we didn't have anybody to fill in for him. So now we do. If we have them both back healthy, then I think that's the perfect fit. Um, all right, let's keep going. Uh, Wales beat North Macedonia 7-1. I don't know who's on this Wales team anymore. Obviously, back in the day, it was Gareth Bale. So there was a lot of conversation, right, in a comparison between what Holland has done with getting Norway to the World Cup and what Gareth Bale did with getting Wales to the World Cup. Now, I believe the World Cup was a little bit smaller back then. I think we've added for this World Cup. I think it's expanded now. I could be wrong on that. So if I'm wrong, just tell me I'm wrong. Um, but the way people were acting as if Gareth Bell was a one man show, and I don't think that's fair because again, you had people like Aaron Ramsey and others that were on that team. Um, that again, as a collective, they were able to get over the hump. Just like I think that um, Erling Haaland has played a major role in getting Norway to the World Cup, but he didn't do it by himself. There are other players. There's the Oscar Bobs of the world. There's the Martin Odegaards of the world who, while he plays for Arsenal, I got to give him credit. He's played a part. But yeah, Holland was the biggest part about getting um, them to the World Cup. But again, just trying to find, I think people feel like, if it feels to me as a City fan, like people are trying to find ways to diminish what Holland has done, and I think that sucks so bad. So, Spartacus said, "I'll go to bed now, lads. Have a good one. Appreciate you, Spartacus, as always. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Always welcome on if you are here. I have not been saying this, but there is a pinned chat at the top of the chat that should give you a link if you decide that you wanted to jump on and you wanted to have your say. You are more than welcome to do that. I haven't been calling it out, but it is there. So while you're more than welcome to just keep going in the chat, that's perfectly fine. But if you decided, hey, let me jump on and have my say, then you can do that as well. So Wales got their win. Yeah, Harry Wilson from Fulham is decent. Wales also has Brennan Johnson. It was just a tapping merchant, in my opinion. Um, Wales have no big names anymore, pure teamwork now. And again, it's hard to have anybody at the level of Gareth Bale. Gareth Bale was exceptional. So those types of players don't come along very often, especially if you're a smaller nation. But as far as I know, I think they have qualified. I don't know if they qualified yet or not, but um, big ups to them. All right, let's go back, see what else happened today in World Cup qualifying. Is that the last one for yeah, that was the last one for UEFA. So the Asian Federation, Iraq beat the United Arab Emirates. And right now in CONCACAF, we have couple matches going. Group A, Guatemala, Suriname, Panama, El Salvador. Group B, Jamaica, which I think Jamaica has to win tonight. Jamaica has to win if they are going to advance. Well, I think if they lose, there's still a possibility. Maybe if they have to draw. I'm not sure. But ideally, they win tonight and they can advance. I'm not. Again, I'm from the U.S., so I don't really care. I know there's a lot of Jamaican fans from the UK, so we'll see what they do. Um, just like I know there's a lot of Nigerian fans in the UK, and Nigeria lost the other night. And so they are not going to be in the World Cup. And that seems like for a lot of people that was heartbreaking. But um, it sucks if you can't make a 48. Thank you, Dylan. Used to be 32 teams. Now there's 48 teams in the World Cup. Yeah, if you can't make a 48 team World Cup, there's an issue. Now again, we can debate whether or not how many teams from each confederation should be there or whatever, but um it feels like 48 should be enough for a lot of people. Yep, we drew at Trinidad last game, so have to win. Okay, so see, I didn't know you were Jamaican. But that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, big ups. Costa Rica at Honduras and Haiti at Nicaragua. All of those matches probably just kicked off um, within the last few minutes. I think somebody said they just started the Jamaica match just kicked off on Paramount Plus here in the States. So maybe I'll turn that on once we get done here. Let me stop sharing so I can read some of these out. Uh, with Nico G doing well. Let's go here. With Nico G doing well and a potential Rodri extension, do we think going for Wharton would be a good idea? I would never say no to him, but Nico G seems he will play 6 long term. I assume you're going to say not the 8 long term. With Nico G doing well and a potential Rodri extension. So if I think that Rodri is going to extend, personally, I don't know if I need Wharton at the moment because I think Nico G as a 6'8" hybrid, that's the best you're going to get for a Rodri. Because even if we got Wharton, right, as a 6, he's not going to play in front of Rodri. At the end of the day, Rodri is still the Ballon d'Or winner. He's still the best in the world in that position. So I don't think he's going to get in over Rodri. I don't think he's again, if you're asking me, I would be content with just keeping Nico G, but I can understand why others might be asking that question. This is why I posed the Rodri question, uncomfortable question. Yeah. Yes, it is one for the board. What I'm trying to say is that Nico G can definitely play as an 8 as well. It's his natural position. We force him to play 6. Yeah, I think that 8 is his natural position. I believe that there was stated in a interview at one point, also recognizing that he's been playing as a six for us. And I don't know that we go out and find some person that only plays as a six. I think you need someone that can play with Rodri at times because, again, Rodri's the best in the world. He's not going to be um, relegated to the bench on a consistent basis, but you need someone that can step in when he either is hurt, needs a rest, or whatever, rotation, whatever. So you need someone that can play there, but that's not enough minutes for a star, a top level six, right? So they're going to need other minutes. So you need someone that can play as an eight alongside of them. Now, again, Rodri could probably play as an eight at times. So there's another approach there is play Rodri at the eight, maybe play Wharton as a six if you wanted to do that. But um, yeah, a lot of conversation about whether we need another midfielder with Bernardo leaving or expected to be leaving at the end of this season. Kova being hurt, potentially leaving as well. So we'll see. There's been a lot of conversation about Elliot Anderson. Again, English, like a Wharton, feels like he offers a little bit more physically than Adam Wharton does. I don't know if he has the same passing range, though. Again, I don't watch enough of those matches to see. But yeah, so that is what happened in the international break or international matches today. Um, so big ups to them. Let's look at actually, yeah, we'll do it here. The other thing that happens in the international break is transfer rumors. So let's go through these transfer rumors to see what it is that they're saying. Heading Premier League giants chasing Neymar. Holland attracts 200 million offer, so on and so forth. Let's get into it. Neymar Jr. is thought to be admired by Manchester United this January. It would be a win-win move for the Brazilian, who is pushing for a spot in Carlo Ancelotti's World Cup squad. So I feel like he's been injury prone forever. Spartacus, our designated Brazilian pundit, or that's not the word I'm looking for, but is gone. He went to bed, but I'm not sure about Neymar Jr., although if Manchester United wants to go get him, I'm okay with that because I don't think he's got anything left, and I just think they would be wasting money. So go ahead, Manchester United, if you want to do that. Again, look at the source. I believe it's a Brazilian source. I don't know if there's anything legit to this. I doubt it, but I would be all for it. Chelsea prepared to bid for Nottingham Forest 100 million pound rated midfielder Elliot Anderson as soon as January. Man, you have also been heavily linked with the expensive England international. Chelsea is in for everybody. Let's just be fair. They are in for everybody all the time, every player. So I would not be surprised if they try to put a bid in. But I think Elliot Anderson is going to have a lot of suitors. So I don't think it'll just be Chelsea and Man U. I think we've been linked to him at one point. So we'll see. Go from there. Let's see. Let's jump into the chat real quick. Can I ask how are we feeling about Saturday? St. James Park is no joke. Let's do this. Since you asked the question, let's make it a poll. And maybe a poll. It doesn't make sense. There's only like 7 or 8 of us out here. Are you all concerned about about Newcastle and St. James Park on Saturday? I think coming into the season, if you ask me, I would have said yes. I think their midfield, um, the physicality, the pace that they can hit you on the break with Gordon, they have things that can make them threatening. But if I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm feeling pretty confident. Maybe I'm feeling maybe more confident than maybe I should. I don't know. But I'm not concerned to be honest with you. Now, those may be famous last words. I don't know. But I'm not really concerned. Uh, so we'll see what everybody else says. Snoopy said, uh, actually feeling pretty confident, entirely uncomfortable. See, exactly, right? I don't know if I should be concerned about the fact that I'm feeling confident. Should I be more concerned? I don't know, but I'm not. Don't like feeling this good, but both teams form have me feeling good. Yeah, you don't want to go into it on a high thinking you got it and then get disappointed, right? If you go in thinking, oh, I'm not really sure, I don't know, and then we win, it's like, okay, cool. But if you're expecting a win and you don't get it, you kind of feel deflated. Um, Olise is homegrown, by the way. Yeah, which is why I think one, if he ever gets on the market, he's going to have an amazing bidding war for him because every club is probably going to want him. Magnus said, I'm feeling quietly confident regarding Newcastle. They're missing a few players and don't look at their best. Yeah. I don't know who are they missing. Let's do. Let me stop sharing and let's go. Oh wait, yeah, go back to FOTMob, but let's go to the Premier League. Let's see who FOTMob says they have out. All right. Come on. Switch sides. There we go. All right. So bench, injured, and suspended players. So we have Rodri and Mateo Kovacic out. Rodri is listed as doubtful. Makes sense. They have a couple players that are doubtful. So Anthony Gordon, Joel Linton, Nick Pope, Sandra Tonali. See, in my opinion, all these players are back. All these players are probably back after because again, it's been the international break. I think to a certain extent, maybe there's a little bit of I don't really want to go. Of course, Nick Pope, I saw him get hurt, but I suspect that I don't know how long he was been out for this concussion, almost a week and a half, 2 weeks. He'll probably be back. So I suspect that all of these main four players, Anthony Gordon, Joel Linton, Nick Pope, Sandra Tonali, I expect all of them to be back. Livermento is out till December. Interesting. Oh, Johan Visa is out till late November. So we'll see if he actually plays. So this is actually, they have players out that I didn't even know they had out. So yeah, that's actually, I mean, again, I felt confident coming in. Does that make me more confident? Yeah, probably does. Probably does. St. James is always a tough out, but they've just failed to impress. West Ham loss in particular is really poor. They're also dealing with fitness issues. Yeah, I think if we go looking at the form, um, obviously we just beat Liverpool, 4 straight wins. Our last loss was to Aston Villa. Um, they have won 3 out of the last 5. They had a loss to Brentford. They had a loss to, and this is all competition, I should say. They had a loss to West Ham, 3-1, 3-1. They beat Athletic Club. They beat Tottenham 2-0 in both of those, and then they beat Fulham 2-1. So, yeah, it probably sucks to lose to West Ham 3-1, but then to come back and lose to Brentford 3-1 too says that, hey, they do have some folks that they're missing. Um, so yeah, so if you look at what Fat Mob thinks that they will, okay, the last starting 11, this would have been before the break. So again, you got Joel Linton, and Tonali back in the midfield again. I'm thinking they'll be back. You might end up with Gordon out here. Um, this guy, what are you guys' thoughts about Voltamade? What are your thoughts about him? I think he started the season pretty hot. Not sure how he's done recently. According to them, Fat Mom, he's got a 6.84 rating versus an 8.04 for Holland. 4 goals versus 14. A 3.04 expected goal return versus an 11.09 expected goal return. And what that says is that both of them are performing above what they would have been expected to perform. So, not the same volume of goals, but still a pretty good clip as far as based on what you would have expected based on the service and all the other stuff. So 8 matches, 4 goals. So a goal every other game. 11 matches, 14, right? It's insane. Did anybody say anything about Voltamade? I didn't see if anybody saw anything. Made a good start for them. Nothing we can't handle though. Somebody said Bruno G started for Brazil. Voltamade is a promising talent. Sometimes it sees you into thinking he's a 10 with the skills. He was a good find for them, and I suspect they'll make a good profit when Bayern needs to replace Kane. Interesting thing I want to know, how tall exactly is this dude? Because we know that we struggle on set pieces. I don't know if you can see. Yep, I highlighted 6'6". We struggle at set pieces. This dude is a 6'6" striker. If you have any amount of good service to him on corners or free kicks, he could do the business against us. I don't know that he will, but that's a scary thought for a team that, yeah, 6'6". So that's a kind of a scary thought for a club that isn't great at defending set pieces, if I'm going to be honest with you. Holland can mark him. Yeah, on set pieces, he can for sure. He's actually done a really good job this season about helping on set pieces, and especially like on corners and how helping us clear those out. So it's not a bad shout, although you don't want him tied to the defensive end. You want him being able to get out and run. So don't want to tie him down too much. Red Camp has the question: should we get Semenyo or not, considering that he is homegrown? So again, this is another thing that I saw earlier today on Twitter somewhere. But it just, again, we've all seen he's having a really good season, right? Playing well, having a great, doing great. Started really hot, kind of tailed off a little bit, and we saw Nunez basically pocket him. So again, is he perfect? No, but he was scary, especially when you're going up against that team. He's the one that you get nervous about, or you get concerned about, and you got to double up and focus on. So I think he's a good player. Again, he's a left winger. I don't know that we need a left winger, because if you ask me, I'd prefer to keep Doku. And I don't think he's coming to be a backup. Semenyo's not coming to be Doku's backup. Now, again, I'm all for competition for places. So, Doku doesn't get guaranteed anything, but we also have Marmoush. So I just don't know where he plays. I think he's a really talented player, but I'm not sure I know where he plays for us. The interesting thing that I read was basically it being put out that I guess he's either an Arsenal or a Liverpool fan. But then also like Arsenal have been doing this thing recently where they've been leaking to the media that they're interested and effectively pressuring the other club through the media to cave. We saw that with um we saw it with Newcastle, and they refused. They're like, "No, we're not gonna you're gonna get Isak on our terms, or you're not gonna get him at all." And maybe they changed up slightly towards the end, but Liverpool was basically negotiating through the media and creating a situation where the player's upset. You can't do anything but let him go if you're gonna, otherwise you're gonna have a completely angry, upset player in your hands, and so you gotta make a move, and I think that's unfair, and I feel like they're doing the same thing here. They tried the same thing with Gahey, where we want Gahey to let it be known, and they put it out there in the media, and again, Crystal Palace were like no, and so now okay, they held on to him. Now we're seeing the same thing here with Semenyo. I know he's got supposedly at least he's got a release clause of 65 million, which doesn't seem like a lot. I just don't know where we would play him. So, do I think he's talented? Yes. The fact that he's homegrown is also great. If he's open to coming and competing for his spot, I'd say bring him on. But if he's expecting to come in and be immediately the starter, I don't know uh, that makes sense. Um, Imagine Bernardo marking Voltimati. This would be so funny. Again, these are my fears, man. I don't want to see that matchup. And I know sometimes we play that whole um, zonal marking. Nah, man, we got to go man to man. In here in the states, NBA or basketball in general, especially on the college level, they play a zone. They play a lot of zone defense. There is a announcer, or not even announcer, but like a sports personality. His name is Bomani Jones, and Bomani Jones has told us for years that zone is for cowards, because you won't match up man to man. And I just need somebody with City to understand that zone is for cowards, and do not come out there in that zonal marking. You better put a big dude on Voltimati. As a matter of fact, you might want to put two big dudes on that guy, because if he gets free, there's no one that's going to stop him from that header. Now, let me just say this, right? I won't say apologize, but I need to give some credit to Ruben Diaz, because he's been better this season than he had been in recent seasons. He's been better this season than I've probably given him some credit for, right? Uh, Especially with his heading. I don't want to see Ruben Diaz matched up against Voltimati. I believe that Voltimati is going to win that over and over and over. So we got to figure out what we're going to do, because that's not going to end well for us. We need to figure something out. That is, yeah, that's a little scary. Good Lord. Uh, he said it'll probably be Doku. Yeah, none of these are good. None of these are good options. None of these are good options. So I don't know. Could Semenyo play on the right wing? I don't know if he can play there. I don't know. If he can, great, because I think that would be the place where he could get in most likely to get in. Like if you want to say immediately. Somebody said he's ambidextrous, can play on both flanks. Well, hey, uh, if he can play on the right and he's willing to play on the right, that's where our need is. So, hey, 65 million doesn't sound like a lot. I would go get him. I think he's talented. But again, if I thought I had chance, a legit chance to go get Olise, I'm spending all my money on Olise. I don't know that that's a legit option. Elise may not. Bayern may. If I'm Bayern, there's no way I'm letting this dude go. Why would you? But if you have a chance, yeah, I think you could get Elise. But if not, then Semenyo, if he's willing to play on the right and he can play on the right, then yeah, I think that's a pretty strong option. Uh, oh, whenever the transfer window opens, Kobe gets injured. Ghana seems to produce powerful dribblers. Doku, Semenyo, Kudus. Yeah, that's a good shout. Really good shout, actually. Yeah. Da-da-da-da. The thing with Liverpool, they probably need a defender more than another attacker, but they do look to be regretting not replacing Luis Diaz. Yeah, and I think that's what they've been saying. Yeah, they definitely need a. They're probably going to go get Gahey. I know there's some talk about Ake going to Crystal Palace, which, in my opinion, if we send Ake to Crystal Palace, what we are doing is we are allowing them to go get Gahey, unless we have kind of a swap deal, if you want to call it that. If we have a swap deal, great. Otherwise, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm maybe waiting to the last minute, or even we'll do it in the summer. Why give again, maybe you say, well, we're not really concerned about other teams, but why give them any additional strength, them being Liverpool, by letting them go get Gay? Why do that to ourselves? Uh we only have Holland for the job. I don't know. Like I said, you might have to double them up. In basketball, we'd front and then, maybe have somebody on the backside coming over. You got to do something. That dude, we need help. We're going to need help against that dude. So, uh, Daku is utilized as Donnarumma's bouncer. Yeah. 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 It's like if I push my own player, then I can get away with it. I don't know how well that works. Um, Snoopy said, I wouldn't buy Semenyo personally. It's Elise or wait on Savio for me. And again, like I said, if I can get Elise, or if I think I can get Elise, I'm waiting. I'm not doing anything to jeopardize that. But I also know that we thought, as a fan base, we thought we were going to get Bellingham. Didn't happen. We thought we were going to get Declan Rice. Didn't happen. So we got left holding the bag. And as much as Nunez is doing great for us as a right back, he has not performed in midfield, which is what we were looking for at the time. So yeah, we failed. We cannot go into it thinking it's Elise or nothing and come out empty-handed. Or I guess maybe you do. You prefer empty-handed than to come out with a. I don't like using the word panic buy, because I don't know if it's panic, but you're buying someone just for the sake of buying them. That's not a good idea either. So gotta be gotta be better, or gotta be smart. Elise is worth 130 on the market. I'm sure. I'm sure he is. Um, Last three goals City have given up have been set pieces. That's why Pep was having a go at Doku after the Dortmund game. Yeah, that's why I said that is the thing that scares me. But I think that at the end of the day, I am confident about that match. I believe that we will win it. Um, and we'll go from there. Question: would you buy a right back or trust Nunez long term? What would you do? If by long term you mean beyond this season, I am perfectly fine with Nunez as our primary right back option this season. If I can identify a right back that is a first choice, go get him right back. I'm perfectly fine with going and getting somebody else. We thought, let's be honest, we thought that we went and got Ait Nori to be our out and out left back, only to find out that, and again, this is somewhat unfair because he's been injured. I'm not raining on his parade. I'm not talking down about Ait Nori, but only to find out that the left back that we had, who is a converted left back, is just as good, if not better than what we brought in. I need to know that whoever I go get as a right back is unquestionably better than Mateus Nunes if I'm going to bring somebody else in. And I like the fact of having him as a backup option. If he, if we do go get somebody, again, we have the ability to bring Nunes in if that player doesn't perform or whatever. So yes, I would go get someone long term. I don't know that I feel the need that we have to do it this season, but I will refer back to the chat from, I don't know, an hour and a half ago, however long it's been, when we were talking about players that we are dependent upon and we got to keep healthy. Nunez is in that boat. We have to keep that man healthy because of what he's providing, how great he is performing for us. So I want to respect him for what he's done. Yes, I think it's okay to bring somebody else in long term because I think long term that's what I would do. But I can't knock dude this season. I can't knock him at all. Uh, let's see. Yeah, this me. Prior to the Bournemouth game, we hadn't conceded a set piece goal. Classic broadcaster jinx. Yeah, that is so true because I'm watching the match, and the announcer is like, "Oh, City is the only team that haven't given up a goal this season, a set piece goal this season." And then as soon as the corner comes in, what happens? We go and they give up a goal. It's just like, stop doing this. I don't know how announcers do it, how they have this powerful jinx, but it feels like every time I'm watching a game, basketball, footy, doesn't matter. The announcer says something crazy, they tell you some stat that seems unimaginable, seems unreal, and then they go and blow it. Stop doing that. Stop. I don't know, man. Uh, we are most likely gonna win. Likely gonna go after Livermento again. So I don't know enough about Livermento. I've not seen him enough to be like, we gotta go get this guy. I think defensively, I've heard he is much more of a defensive player. Not even like he's a much more defensive, but he's a better defender than, say, Nunez is. I don't know that he has what Nunez has going forward, though. So it's going to be a change. What we know about Pep is that whatever players he gets, he's going to tailor the system to fit, right? So if we go and we get Livermento, then he'll make that work. There is a strong possibility that because we know Newcastle's going to need him. Well, we don't know. Newcastle is likely to be in the hunt for a goalkeeper, and we knew that they were after James Trafford before we signed him. There's a very strong possibility that um, we try to leverage Trafford for Livermento. Don't know if that happens. Um, Maybe they're more willing to play ball because hey, we wanted him. We made um, our interest known. They said no, we backed off. And maybe that's, hey, you can come back again next season, but for now, we're not willing to sell. And that gives them time to go and find a new player without the pressure of, oh, well, we gotta sell him now or whatever. The player doesn't throw a fit, all the things that we saw Isak do, right? So if anything, if that is the case, then it should put us in Newcastle's good graces, but we will see. Um, Daniel said announcers jinx for free throws. Yep, happens all the time. All the time, man. It's crazy. Livermento homegrown, Semenya homegrown, Elise homegrown. Yeah. I mean, we can go get all three of them. It'd be great. I don't think it works that way, but make it happen, Captain. Australia versus Colombia just kicked off. I don't know. Is Keely still on? Uh, Keely is still on. Oh, Mia just dropped off. But if Keely is on, big ups to your Australia. We'll see how they do against Colombia. Um, really like that Pavlovic guy from Bayern. I don't think they would sell him that easily. Again, that's I believe he's more of a defensive midfielder. So we'll see if that's really an option for us. I did see him, us linked to him earlier in the season, a couple weeks ago, probably. Magnus said, I rate Livermento, but he's had two ACL injuries already. Risky. Yeah, see, I didn't know he had two ACLs. That's scary. That's very scary. Again, I don't know if his game is based on, pace, but not one, but two. Now, is it one in each leg, or is it the same leg twice? Either way, it's not a good thing. Sorry, Snoopy said I was high on Tino, but his injury history is a bit concerning. Newcastle or Keen on Trafford, just saying, and that's what I was saying, Magnus, that maybe we can find a way to fit him into um, a package deal, if you will. So we'll see. Still there, still got you tabbed. Appreciate it. Uh, Interesting to see. What do you think about your game tonight, your match tonight, against Colombia? You think you're gonna win? Let us know. Definitely a swap deal to be made if they're willing to entertain it. Worth keeping an eye on. Yep. His current injury is also a knee injury. Yeah, if that's the case, I would run. I would not just walk away. I would run away from this dude. There's just that's too much, and they want too much money for him too. There's no way I'm paying that for a guy that can't stay healthy with his knees in a sport where he's got to run, run and jump. There's just no way. I think he's probably talented, but that's too big of an injury risk for me. So I would probably walk away. No, like I said, I would run away. I'd sprint away. I'd run as fast as I could in the other direction. Um, Big ups to all of you that have hung out with me tonight. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. None of y'all were willing to jump on with your boy, which still hurts, breaks my heart, hurts my feelings, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I hear y'all. Let's just go for Hakimi. Yeah, the only thing about Hakimi, I think talent wise, he's great, but he had an issue, legal stuff going on. I don't know if I want to be involved with that. So you said you were just kidding. You probably know the same thing. Um, I hear you. Just such a shame for a young lad who can play left and right fullback. Yeah, again, um, we talked about timing. We talked about so much of it is just luck. Can't do anything about injuries. That sucks bad, and you always look back on players that um, could have been, or what if they didn't get hurt, right? For me, again, going back to a basketball background. Um, oh, so when I was at Miami, um, my favorite, well, not even my favorite player, but I bought a pair of shoes, some Penny Hardaways. Penny Hardaway was an amazing basketball player, 6'7", played for the Orlando Magic, point guard. He was amazing, but he started getting knee injuries and he just never could figure it out. And basically his career went down the drain. You think about a Grant Hill, all of these basketball players that could have been great. They were talked about in the breath of, oh, they're going to be the next Michael Jordan, or they're going to be the next this, the next that. Can't stay healthy. And I'm sure it's the same thing on the footy side, right? How many players have been targeted for greatness only to just can't stay healthy, just can't keep them healthy, and that it sucks because it's not that they're not trying. Um, Quite honestly, look, I got a kid, not my oldest. I got a kid that plays basketball who has lost two. This is the third. Basically, lost almost three high school basketball seasons. Just can't stay healthy. We finally figured it out, and she's going through rehab right now and trying to get herself back. But at this point, it's just getting back to be healthy and be in proper, her body in proper working order. At this point, basketball is not even a thought anymore. But she just couldn't. She had an injury and couldn't get it right. Couldn't get the right people to look into it and figure it out. And it felt like I used to get mad at John Stones at times because it was like he was constantly on the trainer's table, always hurt, always couldn't figure it out, kept getting injured. And then when my kid starts getting injured like that, it's like I see the frustration on her. She's doing everything she can, going through rehab, doing everything they're telling her to do, and just can't get it right. And then when you think you get it right, you come back for she came back for summer basketball, travel, whatever, played like 2 or 3 tournaments and was hurt again. Same thing would happen with John Stones. You come out, you play one match, 2 matches, whatever it is, and then you're right back on the injury. And so I've seen my kid go through that. And I saw the frustration to the point where she's like basically giving up the game at this point. So I know, and that's at a youth level, right? That's not even talking about professionals who are playing their sport, whatever that sport is at the highest level. So I can only imagine the frustration that somebody might feel. Um, but yeah, it sucks. I think it would be perfect if we have wingers that can play in both flanks. It would give Guardiola so many options. Yes, technically, Savio can play on the left and the right. Doku can play on the left and the right. I think they have preferences, and I think we've seen Pep typically play them on one side only. So I don't know if there is a player that Pep is just throwing out. You go on the right today, you go on the left tomorrow. I don't know if that player exists. Maybe. I don't know if that's just because Pep doesn't feel we had the players to do it, or if that's just something he's opposed to. I don't know. If people are willing to gamble on Livermento, you may as well include Reece James in your thinking. Yeah, and I think with Reece James, I think it was more muscle injuries, not like knee problems, if I'm correct. Now, maybe I'm wrong. So I'm with you. I would absolutely be more willing to. Reece James is a little bit older. I don't know how many years older, but he's older. But I think I would absolutely uh, be willing to go down the Reece James before I would go down the Livermento if it's just a muscular injury. Reece James was a bad dude, and I think if healthy, he was, maybe still is. I don't know, but if he's healthy, and when he was at his peak, he was, in my opinion, England's best right back. Well, outside of Kyle Walker, Kyle was kind of on the tail end of his career, and so Reece James was the best option after that, in my opinion. Let's see. Penny is one of the biggest what ifs for me. Grant was special too. Yeah, Penny was my dude. I bought the black, those Penny ones, the black Orlando ones when I was down at school at Miami. I got the all white Jones that came out after that. I was pennied out, man, to the point where my wife, my kids, they knew how much I loved his shoes. They bought me a pair of the retros when they came out. So, uh, yeah, man, Penny was that guy. Um, I'm not man. Wait, I'm not Manchester's so interested in him. Not me. I would prefer Wilfred Singo instead, to be honest. Now, I've stepped into a conversation that I got in the middle of, so I don't know who we're talking about here. So forgive me if I'm not sure. So I've heard this name. Who? What is his position? What position does this Wilfred Singo, whatever, play? While you're figuring that out, Reece James is 26. Yeah, man, I think I could still see him playing it right back for us if he could stay healthy. I don't know that he can though. Overcoming his injury, the same thing we're saying about John Stones, right? To his credit, to this season, John Stones has stayed healthy. Now, again, we've not had to put him under a lot of pressure, a lot of load. We've been able to load manage, to borrow NBA term. Um, we've been able to run him out here and there and balance his minutes. So yeah, uh, Kunde from Barcelona, nah, not worth it. I know we were after him at one point. I thought he was more of a center back originally, and then he started playing him at right back. So maybe he was one of those kind of a mixture. You kind of undersized, but you can play them both, or he's got the pace to play both. Kind of probably like a Gavardiol. But defensively, I think he'd probably be decent. I don't like him as a person or as a player. I should say person. I'm not a fan, but I think he's a good player, and I think he would deliver for us. And so I wouldn't be opposed to it. Um, Not at all. Someone said no Trent. Fair enough. You know what? Defensively, Trent is a liability, but Trent with the ball from deep, creating for Erling Holland. Oh my God, that would be so ridiculous. Uh, that would be ridiculous. So Slingo is a right center back, can also play at right and back, kind of same as Kunde. Then okay. He's at Galatasaray right now. Ship is sailed, though we were never really linked with them. But Nobbins was a fan and mentioned him as someone we should have looked at. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Pep is a big admirer of Trent, by the way. I mean, again, I don't think that Trent is an amazing defender. I think Trent has his shortcomings. Um, but I think Trent in a Pep system would probably be ridiculous because a lot of things that Cancelo was doing, he's gonna do. I think even his passes from deep are better. Trent Trent playing in this City team would be ridiculous. The amount of I just see those long balls out to Holland, those through balls, just kind of curving their way. Oh my God, it would be insane. Again, I'm not a Trent fan, but if he lined up for my team, I probably would be a Trent fan at that point. So let's just be honest. Let's be honest. If they show up if they put on that sky blue top, I'm gonna rock with them. Trent feels like a Pep player. Yeah, maybe. All right. We've gone 2 hours, 24 minutes. It is almost 9 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone of the United States. So, which means if you are in the UK, that means it is almost what, 9:14, almost 2 o'clock. So, I really appreciate you rocking with me. Some of you have been here right from the beginning all the way through. Um, that does not get taken lightly. I appreciate you showing up, showing your boys some love. Thank you so much. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully, I won't be sick this week, so I'll be a little bit even more prepared. But I appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you for being in the chat, being active, giving me plenty to go off of, engaging. You guys are great, and I really appreciate the support. So if you haven't already, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share it, whatever you need to do. I really appreciate the support. But more importantly, just thank you for being here and spending your time with me, letting me talk at you. It's much love. Appreciate y'all. Uh, See y'all again next week.